Hey everybody, how's it going? Mark here, and we'll be talking about Wolf Priest and his skills and how they do in Mordheim Paramod. So we're gonna be starting with the passive skill of the Wolf Priest, which is Heart of the Wolf. The Heart of the Wolf increases the all-alone resistance by 35%, the fear and terror resistances by also 35%, and apparently also leadership skills. It's definitely working against like skills like Intimidate and other similar stuff, which makes you pass a leadership check. So for a passive skill for the Wolf Priest, I think this just easily goes into a God tier, because yeah, it's just 3 stats and it gives you so much freedom, like in allowing you how you want to build your Wolf Priest. And with your Wolf Priest, you usually also don't go for a lot of leadership and stuff. Yeah, you usually go for like 10 or either 12 or 11, in my opinion. You can go for less, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's just a god tier skill, and it also allows your Wolf Priest to go for the helmet instead of pendant, which allows you to have even more armor. Yeah, and Wolf Priest is a kind of a heavy armor character. Now let's take a look at some of the active skills that this guy actually has. The first skill is called actually Alpha Howl. What the skill does is that it increases initiative by 5, and it increases the meter range for ambushes and charge by 2 meters for 2 turns, and the mastery increases initiative of the units around you by 10, and increases the charge and ambush range bonus, the meter range, to 3 instead, and it lasts for 3 turns, and it costs like 3 SP. But it looks like the target is just the allies within 5 meters of user, which makes it sound like the Wolf Priest themselves do not get this buff, which kinda sucks, in my opinion. So let's talk about the basic one. I mean, you're obviously, if you're gonna be using this sort of a thing, you're gonna be using this in like mighty charge warbands and stuff. How much of a difference it is? Well, I think the skill is probably just kind of like awkward to use, but I don't know if this skill is even something that's necessary. I mean, it's not even necessary for the charge builds. It's just, I think it's, if anything, it's more of a kind of a luxury, in my opinion. So I'm gonna put this one, I think it's gonna be probably just kinda awkward with the SP and stuff. I think it's probably just kind of okay. Yeah, I think it's kinda bad because it doesn't apply to the Wolf Priest themselves. That's what it looks like. So I think that's a bit awkward. And mastery, I think I'm just gonna go also with the kinda bad. Like, sure, you increase the initiative bonus of your characters by 10, but I think that's mostly irrelevant. I'm pretty sure this is mostly irrelevant and doesn't like give you any actual 2-turning opportunities. Because this is like a sort of a buff you want to do before you start fighting, not something you do during the fighting. And you want to be 2-turning people during the fighting. So I think both of them are just kind of bad. I think the skill is a bit of a trap, in my opinion. So let's move on to the guard stance. So guard stance, the basic version, basically it's a stance and it gives you 5% armor, and the master gives you 10% armor instead. I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm not exactly persuaded by this skill or the Wolf Priest. I think it's good. Well, maybe let's start with the basic version. The basic version, is just kind of okay. Like I don't think there are gonna be any Wolf Priest builds which are gonna be just using this skill. I think this one's just kind of okay. And I think it's fair to put this one into good. Yeah, you can like make like a super armor tank, but it's hard to make a Wolf Priest that is able to also like resist magic with that together with the armor, and that is also able to like resist poison, and that is also able to, how they say it, that is also able to resist crits. So I'm just gonna put this into good. Like armor stacking on a Wolf Priest just makes a lot of sense. Now let's get to the Righteous Fury. So Righteous Fury I kind of put in the Gods tier for the sisters. So for the Wolf Priest, well, the Wolf Priest kind of in general they prefer two-handed weapons. But there are definitely like some Wolf Priest builds which rely on one-handed weapons and one-handed combat. And if you're leveling up a Wolf Priest, I don't think you can go really wrong with this skill, especially like for example, if you're playing Mercs, like Mercs normally do not have access to the skill. But I don't know if this is ultimately something that Wolf Priest wants to do. Maybe kind of yes, because the Wolf Priest also has some skills which rely on you missing your attacks. I think I'm just gonna put this into good. I think this sort of a skill is better suited just on your henchmen rather than your heroes. And as for this one, for a Wolf Priest, you can make some like one-handed build which wants to miss as much as possible to up your like spell power, spell damage. It is possible to do, but I don't know if that's something you actually want to do. I have no idea. I have no idea how to rate this. And the thing is, it's kind of difficult to rate because I don't know what this build would even look like. And if this build was a thing, or if I came up with some build, which kind of uses like the Righteous Fury and Mastery and missing attacks, it might be like a complete abomination of builds, which might not be effective whatsoever. So I just don't know with this one. So I think I'm just gonna put this into maybe kinda bad. I'll put this into okay. I think I'll put this into okay because of the potential with the other skills, but I think there are like a little bit some better skills for that. Let's go for the next skill, and this one is called, I think like Defense Breach or something like that. No, it's called Crush the Weak. So Crush the Weak, what Crush the Weak does is it's like a regular melee attack, and if it manages to hit the target gets a debuff of minus 15% crit resistance for 2 rounds. And the Mastery gives you minus 20% crit resistance for 3 rounds. And you know, so something to consider is also like the requirement for this skill. For this one you need 9 accuracy, and for this one you need 15 accuracy. So I think this one, the basic one, is either insane or really good. And okay, why is this so good? Because it's like very cheap, and if you're gonna be applying this sort of a debuff to the enemy, you wanna kill that target. You're gonna be like decreasing their crit resistance, and you wanna kill them as soon as possible. So yeah, you basically mark somebody for death, and then you just gang up on them, kill them with crits. This also can be like used to great effect, in my opinion, with something like crit archers, because crit archers, well, the crit archers are gonna basically have like an easier time critting the target, right? So You can also like use this on like a regular wolf priest, which is not like a support, and it's in that case it's like not bad because yeah. But if you're gonna be using this sort of a skill, I think you want to like build your warband around it. You kind of want to make some sort of a crit damage, crit chance build, which uses the howl of the wolf and like ganging upon people and killing them as soon as possible. And in that case, I think it's probably insane. If you're just using it on any wolf priest, it's probably just good. So I think I'm just gonna go with the middle ground option. I'm gonna put this into really good. As for the mastery, I'm pretty sure the mastery is bad. I'm pretty sure this is actually just a trap, because it only gives like minus 20% crit resistance, and I believe like the duration of 2 turns and 3 turns, it probably doesn't matter because you're just going to kill the target with minus 15% crit resistance. Like, you're gonna have a very easy time critting the target and stunning it, and if you stun it, then you're gonna have some even more easier time actually killing the target. And another thing is that this costs like 15 accuracy, so you're not gonna be like investing into weapon skill, so you're gonna have an even harder time actually applying this buff. Okay, the next one is quite spicy. It's called Wild Swipe. That's kind of interesting, a skill. It also has like requirements of 9 weapon skill and 15 weapon skill. So what it does is that if you are engaged in combat with 2 or more people, you're kind of able to like swipe your great weapon in AoE to attack them. And this sort of attack has a reduced hit chance based on the rank, and this sort of attack also cannot be parried, and it also costs like a regular amount of attack, and it also costs like some SP. So the basic version basically gives minus 25% chance to hit with 9 weapon skill, and for 15 weapon skill you get minus 5% weapon skill. So the basic version, I think it actually might be not bad. And I think the sort of a skill you can use for Northern Tenacity or this sort of a thing, but I don't know how relevant this is. Basically, like if you're engaged with an enemy, you can like start stacking some buffs, like crit buffs. So it's kind of like a win-win scenario. If you manage to miss, then you get plus crit chance or plus spell damage. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is actually not as good. I'm pretty sure it's just kind of okay. Yeah. I mean, the best thing about the skill is that it is a attack that is able to attack like multiple people at once. So, for example, you're able to attack 2 people at once if they're like engaged with you. That's amazing. And the other thing that's completely amazing is that it completely ignores parry, and that's a great weapon attack. So that's also kind of insane. And because of that, I think I'm gonna put mastery to... The mastery is either god tier or insane. But I'm gonna actually just put this into insane. I'm pretty sure like this is like a build that you can do with a wild swipes, and just you being able to ignore parry, it's a huge deal because there's like so many like henchmen and stuff which ignore parry. Which use parry for their attacks, and parry is like really powerful. So yeah, put this into I'll put this into insane. And like it's just minus 5% chance to hit. So now let's move on to the passive skills. And the first passive skill that we have for Wolf Priest is Absolute Faith. To be honest, I'm not really sure what this sort of a skill is doing in Wolf Priest's like skills when he has like the Heart of the Wolf, and Heart of the Wolf already gives Wolf Priest like a lot of all alone fear and terror resistances. So I kind of don't get it. I think it just kind of doesn't make sense. Like you can use the basic version. Maybe if you, for example, don't want to invest into leadership with Wolf Priest for some reason. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is just kind of bad. But like the bottom of kind of bad. And this one is just bad. I don't think it makes any sense whatsoever. And you don't really care about like route tests with Wolf Priest. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is just bad. Another skill that the Wolf Priest has is Divine Aegis, which increases his range resistance by 20%. Honestly, if this skill wasn't like the range resistance one, but like the magic resistance ones, it would be like 1,000,000 times better, because the magic resistance could be used with the heavy armor builds. But for heavy armor builds, you're just kind of stuck as a Wolf Priest with the resist magic. But about the Divine Aegis, yeah, actually, like ranged damage is something that Wolf Priest is vulnerable to. And like the basic just gives plus 20% range resistance, the master gives plus 40% range resistance. And the thing is, like the basic version you can't even stack with the shield, because Wolf Priests do not have access to the shield, so I'm pretty sure like the basic version is bad. But I think the mastery might be actually a lot better, because it gives you like plus 40% range resistance. And that plus 40% range resistance may be stacked with plus 15 intelligence. And that is something. And you could potentially combine it with the skill, with the spell that the women of Sigmar have, which gives like plus 30% range resistance. I think the skill might be just. I think it might be okay. I think this might be actually usable with maybe like some kind of a light armor build where you don't want to go like full tank with heavy armor, but it's a might. Like it might be good. I'm not sure. I think I'll follow my gut and I'll just keep this in not bad. Okay, the next skill that we have is Ulrich's Chosen. So Ulrich's Chosen increases your spellcasting chance by 5% and your critical hit damage by 5%. The Mastery does the same thing, but it increases both of these metrics by 10% instead. So, like, don't get me wrong, like, having like a higher spellcasting chance is a good thing for your spellcaster, so that they are more consistent at casting their spells. But the stuff can be just resolved with consumables. And a consumable which does not get consumed, which you can keep on your Wolf Priest forever. It's the prayer beads, right? So just use prayer beads for increased spellcasting chance. I think this is just pointless. And also, like, who cares about like additional plus 5% higher crit damage or plus 10% higher crit damage? Like, that's a joke. So I think this skill is just kind of a trap, and you're just better off like investing your points into something else. So I think this one is. I think this one is bad. And this one is also bad. Because you can just use prayer beads instead. Yeah. And like Wolf Priest has a lot of pockets because they like going for 15 strength, so you should have like inventory slots for the prayer beads. So like why wouldn't you use the prayer beads? And the last two skills that we have are a bit weird. We have the Ulrich's Fury and Northern Tenacity. So let's start with Ulrich's Fury. So Ulrich's Fury, Ulrich's are Wolf Priest kind of furries? Okay. So Ulrich's Fury, after missing a melee attack, it gives a buff to the Wolf Priest, and their spell damage gets increased by 20% for 2 turns, and the Mastery gives plus 30% after a miss for 2 turns. Sorry, for 3 turns. So the basic version, I'm not sure. Like obviously, there is probably some kind of a synergy, some kind of a build with like the wild swipe, and in that case, the ideal sort of a scenario would be if the enemy engages you with, let's say, like 2 henchmen that deal 0 damage to your Wolf Priest, and you're able to farm up with this, maybe some spell power, and then you use Quick Prayer for the icy thing, and you use another Quick Prayer for the second icy thing, and then maybe you deal some damage. And then you just keep repeating this process over and over again. You keep Wild Swipe, Quick Prayer, Ice, Quick Prayer, Ice. But this like assumes this was like the ideal scenario. Like the other scenario might be that your Wolf Priest just dies in a 1v2. Or your Wolf Priest just keeps fighting some kind of just one unit. Or there could be like a build with a Righteous Fury, but you keep like Righteous Furying, and yeah, you're trying to up your spell power as much as possible. I have no idea if this is any good or not. And I'm gonna probably also put this one to okay. I don't know. I have a hard time actually imagining how this would work well, but maybe it would. Maybe they're both okay. Okay, my assumption is gonna be that this one is probably kind of bad because it's just 20% spell damage and it's just for 2 turns. And I think this one might be not bad because it lasts for 3 turns. And basically, like, whenever you miss, it's gonna be, you get a stack of, what do you call it? You get a stack of devotion. And I said before that devotion is like really good or like insane. I don't know. This is probably not bad, the more I think about it. Okay, but let's get to the last skill, and that's gonna be Northern Tenacity. And Northern Tenacity kind of just works in the same way. Whenever you miss a melee attack, your crit chance increases by 5% for 2 rounds, and the mastery increases the crit chance by 10% for 3 rounds. So the basic version, I'm pretty sure the basic version is just not good enough. I'm pretty sure it's just not good enough. And the requirement is also quite nice. It course 9 toughness and 15 toughness, and I believe every single, more or less, well, not exactly, but I think all of the wolf priests should go for 15 toughness, in my opinion. But this one, I think this one is just kind of bad because it just lasts for 2 turns. And there's a lot of missing. And the mastery. I wouldn't say it's good, but I think it's also just kind of not bad. And I would just stack it either with this one, the wild swipe, or this one, the basic wild swipe. I also don't think that there is a build which is using both of these at the same time, and it's a thing. It might be a thing, but I don't think it exists. I don't think it's a thing. I said that it's a thing, but I don't think it's a thing. It's probably not a thing. Yeah. Okay, so that's for the Wolf Priest. Overall, it's just kind of okay. And a lot of skills which are just kind of weird.